You need your muscles connected and you need your muscles strong. These two things are fundamentally different. On this week's episode of the Exercise is Health podcast, we're explaining what we mean by that. We're going to cue our introduction and dive right into this conversation. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Exercise is Health podcast, brought to you by Muscle Activation Schaumburg. We're your hosts, Charlie
and Julie.
And today we're discussing this idea of muscle connection versus muscle strength. Both are 100% necessary in order for you to be able to keep doing the things that you want to do in a body that feels good. But they are fundamentally different from each other, and today we're diving into those differences. We want to let you know that if you want to start taking action on what we're talking about today, that's exactly what we can help you with at our studio, Muscle Activation Schaumburg, where we specialize in muscle activation techniques. So all you need to do to see our availability and get on our schedule is go to our website, www.matschaumburg.com. Click the big green button that says Get Started, and you can schedule yourself for your initial MAT consultation and assessment. All right, so this idea, muscle connection versus muscle strength. Now, a lot of times with muscle activation techniques, we're talking about like, we're looking for muscles that are weak or inhibited and we're trying to get them stronger. And so the idea that pops into people's minds is like, you're going to have me, doing exercises, we're going to use workout equipment, we're going to use dumbbells and free weights. And, that's how we're going to get stronger because that's the idea that I have of getting stronger. And what we're actually talking about is not necessarily weight room strength, but rather strength of connection specifically between your brain and your muscles and how well those two systems are communicating with each other. And this is a crucial part of you being able to truly do the things that you want to do when you want to do them for as long as you want to do them throughout your life and feel good while you're doing them. It's not just about getting strong in the weight room. It is also about this connection piece, but most people are unaware of it.
That's right, Charlie. And most people feel their best when muscles are really connected well and very strong, meaning you're doing both, right? Like, hey, muscles are connected, muscles are working, muscles are on board, and I can access them, and I'm working on my strength. But when we start adding in like we're filling in a deficit in one, let's say a regular exercise, you're like, I always work on my strength. How can my muscles get disconnected? But then you start adding in the MAT piece where you're starting to get muscles connected. Then you feel like, oh my gosh, next level. But both of these, they contribute to improving your strength, improving your function, improving your my body feels goodness versus my body feels tight, feels achy, feels run down and beat up. But they also contribute in different ways. And I think this is really important because a lot of times people are doing one or the other. Like we have so many clients who are like, exercise is not really for me, but MAT is for me because I feel so good when I'm doing MAT. And we're always talking to those clients about hey, if you added an exercise, you'd feel even better. And then we have the opposite with people that come in very rarely for MAT and they're like, but exercise just keeps me going for a long time. And I'm like, it really does. And if you did a little bit more MAT, your exercise would even take you to the next level. And so it's important to say, yes, they both contribute to me feeling amazing. But when they're both on board, that's when people start feeling wow, I'm really not only feeling amazing, but robust and more bulletproof. And I can do more and more stuff. So looking at the differences there are really important. And this actually came up in a session that I just had today, where I was like, wow, this is such a highlight of you're doing a lot of MAT and you're not doing enough working out. So I have this client that has a very physical job, but it goes in spurts. So it'll be really physical for a week. And then it will be really not physical for a week. And then really physical for a whole day, 14 hours. And then really not physical the next day. And he was saying how he's trying to incorporate more and more exercise and weight training and stuff. But what's really cool is that when he feels really beat up and tired and achy and sore after these long marathons of work, of physical work, that he sleeps and he wakes up ready to go the next day. He's like, I can't believe it. It used to lead to I didn't ever recover when I slept. And then one day led into the next and it got worse and worse and worse. And I said, that's actually a really good sign that your muscles are getting more and more connected because your muscles are solving problems quickly. Because anyone that works like he does would feel pretty beat up at the end of the day. That's normal. It's just extra fatigue. It's overwork. It's so much. But then, give some rest and the body starts solving problems and putting things back together and not leading to these big compensatory patterns and things like that. But I did say, hey, if you get more regular with your weight training and your conditioning and your strength training, you're going to notice that, yes, a long day is still a long day, but your muscles are going to hold on a bit longer because you've built up that strength, you've built up that endurance. So as you can see, the benefits of each contribute to the whole, but in very, very different ways, but both are really important.
Absolutely. It's so interesting, Julie, because you're totally right. Where most clients, when they come in, they'll either have experience with one or the other, but rarely do they have experience with both at the same time. Meaning, like, we'll have clients who have, absolutely no experience with MAT, but they're like, yeah, I've done a bunch of strength training in the past. I'm doing some strength training now, everything like that. And then we add in the MAT piece, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, this was the thing. And it's like, okay, yeah, it is a huge piece of the puzzle, and it also helps you maximize what you're doing with your strength training. On the flip side, like, we've had clients who've had experience with MAT, and then they come in and we're like, okay, cool, like, let's get your body back on board with MAT, doing that consistently, and then we add in the strength training piece, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, this was the thing. It's like, okay, well, it was actually the combination of the two. Okay, because here's the thing: is like, your body has a certain opportunity for ability right now in this moment, okay? And the way I like to think about it is MAT will help you maximize whatever your current opportunity is, okay? So whatever your current like maximum abilities are at this moment, MAT will get you as close as you can to reaching those abilities, okay? Strength training will help you expand your opportunities and expand your ability, okay? So the trouble that a lot of people run into is they come in and they only do MAT and they're not strength training. Well, if their abilities, even when they're maximized, are still below or really, really close to what their life is requiring of them on a daily basis, well, even though we're able to get them, like, to maximize their current abilities, their abilities are still too low. They're just flat out still too weak to handle all the demands that they're putting on their body on a daily basis, okay? But then we add in strength training, and now all of a sudden, their opportunity expands, their ability expands, and then we keep up with the MAT, and now they're able to maximize that ability, they're able to maximize that opportunity, and now they are way above, they have way more margin from a muscle strength, muscle function, like neurological resiliency standpoint, versus what their life is asking of them. And so they have way more tolerance to be able to do the things that they are trying to do throughout their day, okay? On the flip side, a lot of people who aren't doing MAT and just strength training, they may continue to try to expand, but they're only really able to use such a small percentage of the potential of their body, because they have all these compensations that are going on. They have all these muscles that they're not able to access. They have all these muscles that their body's continuously trying to work around because they have all this muscle inhibition going on. And so they come in and they start doing muscle activation techniques, and that muscle inhibition gets addressed, and their body's able to access those muscles, and all of a sudden they see their weight room numbers just shoot way up. And it's like, oh my gosh, I just made all this progress. It's like, yeah, because you've been trying to expand your ability, but you haven't been able to maximize, take advantage of everything that you already have built into your system. And that's what MAT is able to do for you, okay? And so it really is a both scenario. It's not a one or the other. It's a both. And those are the people that we see do the best in the short term. Those are the people that we see do the best in the long term. Those are the people that we see really find the most enjoyment in life because they are able to live life uninhibited by their bodies. And that's a really powerful place to be when you're like, okay, yeah, I can go on this week-long trip and I can do all these activities and I can fly and I can sleep in a weird bed and eat this weird food. And I don't feel like it takes a toll on my body. Sure, I might be fatigued after just because I've been doing a lot of stuff and, putting a lot of stimulus into my body that I'm not used to. But I don't feel broken. I don't feel like beat up. I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I just need to take the next week and recover, because I can bounce back within a day and I can get back to it. And to have your body in that place, not when you're in your teens, which is when most people experience it, or your early 20s. But when you're in your late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and your
80s.
80s, and you're able to do this, and it's like, yeah, this is absolutely the reality that so many of our clients experience every single day when they are incorporating both the muscle activation techniques and strength training.
Charlie, I love how you explain that, and it's actually, if you can grasp this, this is actually like it's a pretty robust concept that we think about a lot, where we're trying to fill in and use your maximal potential, because a lot of times we're thinking like in absolutes, like, oh, my husband, he's just stronger and faster than me. Okay, that's fine. Or, oh, my friend is just faster at walking than me or lifts more weights in the gym. But the goal really is to maximize what you have available, and then also knowing there are opportunities in your physical world, aka working out, to increase your physical potential. And then MAT then goes in and lets you use all that physical potential. The biggest place where people feel limited, feel not flexible, feel tight and achy, feel like they can't do anything, is when their body has a capability and we're not utilizing that entire capability. A lot of people, not everyone, a lot of people have sufficient enough strength. And if we can fill it in with MAT so that you're using and able to access all that strength, you feel pretty decent. You feel pretty good. And then people start feeling strong when they feel like, hey, I actually can expand my capabilities and use all my capabilities, right? And so that's when people start feeling that, like, I feel physically free in my body. I feel like I can recover. I think that in, America and probably a lot of other places where we're sold like quick fix type dreams, we never remember that, like, hey, you challenge your body and you work your body really hard. That's like a serious gift. And then to be able to say, hey, that's actually an appropriate response, and I feel tired and kind of beat up after I do that. But the big deal is that you recover from it. People start aging quickly, people start losing physical ability when they do big stuff or little stuff that beats them up, and then they can't recover from it. They can't get back to baseline given the appropriate rest. So you always have to remember, like, hey, we're still working with this body that's adapting and changing relative to its environment. And the fact that we want to get to this place of, like, hey, I can do all that big stuff and I can recover from that big stuff. And then you keep going through that cycle and you're thinking, hey, how much can I do and can I utilize all that I can do? And so that's where, like, the magic of blending both muscle activation techniques, which is connecting muscles and making sure they're available to be used, and blending in that conditioning, strengthening, building your strength piece come together.
Julie, I really love what you said, where it's a gift. It really is such a gift to be able to push your body really hard, to be able to work your body really hard and have the confidence that your body's going to recover quickly. I think so many people that we meet have had experiences in the past where they have pushed their body really hard and they haven't recovered quickly, either because they got injured or because they felt so depleted, they felt so taxed, so broken for way too much time, for way too long. And all of a sudden now there's a fear around, pushing your body really hard. We watch our kids play, we watch our kids run. There's never any hesitancy on their part of like, oh, like, maybe I should stop right now because if I do, another jump off of this couch, like, I'm going to be feeling it tomorrow. Like, that never crosses our kids' minds, right? Like, and because they always recover. They always bounce back the next day. Our daughter's never like, oh my gosh, I really shouldn't do, one more cartwheel because, my shoulders are just going to feel really sore tomorrow. It's like, no, then do another cartwheel. And if I'm tired, I'm going to recover. I'm going to feel better the next day. And that is such a gift. And it's a gift that we get when we're young, that you're honestly not able to appreciate because it's all that you know. And then as soon as you know something different, unfortunately for too many people, then that becomes all they know. But what we have seen time and again is you can get back to that place of experiencing that physical freedom, of being able to push your body really hard and feel your body work really hard, and instead of it triggering a fear response in your body of like, oh my gosh, this is going to break me, every time you feel that way, it triggers a response of, I'm going to recover, my body's going to get stronger, and I'm going to be better because of this. Uh, and that's an incredibly empowering place to be, because then you can truly do what you want when you want without concern. And so if that's something that you are wanting to experience for yourself, that's exactly what we help our clients with at Muscle Activation Schallenberg, where we specialize in muscle activation techniques. And we also help people with their strength training. We combine the two because we see how powerful it is. And based on where you are in your journey, what your body needs, what your experience is with each, we're able to create something for you, and make sure that we're able to get all your muscles working well with muscle activation techniques. And then when the time is right, start to build and expand your capacity with strength training. And we see that when clients do that on a regular basis, they really are able to experience that physical freedom that they had when they were younger. So if that's something you're interested in experiencing yourself, again, that's what we can help you with. All you need to do to see our availability and get on our schedule is go to our website, www.matschallenberg.com, click the big green button that says Get Started, and you can schedule yourself for your initial MAT consultation and assessment. Well, thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We always appreciate your eyes on YouTube, your ears on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. If you wouldn't mind leaving us a rating and review wherever you consume our content, it always means the world to us when you do. We are wishing you a fantastic week, and we'll talk with you all next week.
This podcast is for information purposes only. The statements and views on this podcast are not medical advice. This podcast, including Julie and Charlie Gates, disclaim responsibility for any possible adverse effects from the use of information contained herein. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. This podcast does not make any representations or warranties about guest qualifications or credibility. This podcast may contain paid endorsements or advertisements for products or services. Individuals on this podcast may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to herein. If you think you have a medical issue, consult a licensed physician.